Saints fans, we needed that win. We got the win. A win is a win. That's going to be the slogan for this podcast.
It's 4 points.
It's 4 points, desperately needed. Dominated that first half after a rain delay. I've never seen one of those, at least in a Saints game in my life, so that was interesting. We seemed to handle it well, came out strong. Giants obviously responded in the second half, and boy, it was a heart stopper in the end, but we came away with the win, and that's all that matters. Boys, how are we feeling?
Yeah.
Not the same as like a couple days back, because like that ending was a bit, there was too much going on with my heart, and like I want a calm win, but it's a win, as we've said, and I'm just going to tick it off, move on to next week, and get one step closer to Ari's song.
Just to remind everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
You've already picked the song.
Thanks, Woody.
Yeah.
The song's been picked.
I don't know. Maybe it
Oh,
has.
no, okay. Good. I was going to say, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Still got to beat the reigning premier.
Ari's got to have like, the ability to choose his song, so we need some comments.
Yeah, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat.
Boys, what did we make of that?
Well, I watched it fresh yesterday because I missed the game. So I was at a wedding. So it wasn't fun just checking the phone every sort of 15, 20 minutes. I checked it once at the start. Then I checked it at quarter time. I saw 34-9. I thought, geez, I'm missing a good game here. And then I saw halftime and I saw with 3 minutes to go, we were up. And I thought, well, the game's done. I won't worry about it. And then I went away, had dessert, came back, checked, and we just snuck over the line. I'm like, what the hell happened in that last 3 minutes? But having said that, I don't want to focus too much on that. I think we did so much right from what I watched. I know a lot of people seem to micro-analyze the last 3 minutes and some individual mistakes and whatnot, but we did get through it. And only 2 weeks ago, Hawthorn went there and copped a battering and walked away with nothing but their tails between their legs. So I think that's I think that's going to look a better win in the long run, I think, compared to just in isolation right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the Giants are a good outfit. Like, there's no doubt about it. And we put the pressure on early. They certainly made some uncharacteristic mistakes, but I think St Kilda sides in the past, we haven't capitalised on that. We capitalised on every opportunity they gave us. The goal efficiency was fantastic. I was really impressed. And then, we did the damage early. We made it hard for ourselves to lose the game. Obviously, we came close, but because we had, done so much of the work in that first half, it was too hard for them in the end to edge their way back into the game.
Yeah, I can't believe how good it all looked until that sort of last 5 minutes. There's certain players that I think if you could just take sections of their game and get them to repeat it a bit more often, like, you've got absolute guns there. Like, I mean, Hawley had a bit of a quiet game. As we've mentioned, Darcy Wilson looked pretty dang good in that first half.
Best player on the ground, I say.
Easily.
Yeah.
But didn't do so much in the second half. And I think if you focus on the negatives too much, it's not going to look like an amazing game. But I think it's just one of those times. We got the win despite, not being the way we want to win, and bank it and move on.
And it's interesting because we weren't the favourites going into this game. We were the underdogs. A lot of people were betting against us, tipping against us, and saying we're going to be 0-3. I mean, even last week, people were panicking. It's going to be 0-5, 0-6 going into the West Coast game. But it's funny how just one strong performance like that. And David King's comments were really good, I thought. Like, I don't know if you guys saw what he said today, but he kind of was saying that there was a massive overreaction to our performances against Collingwood and Melbourne, and that even though we lost, we were actually pretty good in both games, and they were both close games. And a few decisions either way, you probably look at now 3-0 start would have been nice, but not the case. But it's a long season. Yeah,
and a part of what Kingy was saying there was the overreaction specifically towards Naz, and obviously he gets the big contract, so everyone has his performances under the microscope. But he's the third highest rated midfielder in the comp. He's the 8th highest rated forward in the comp. Yeah. He's going to be just fine. Like, it was disappointing not to get the 2 victories, and the handling of him going off in the last quarter last week, no good. But hey, he is still just doing Naz things. Yeah, so we don't need to worry about him.
And I thought the back line looked a lot better. Like, shout out to Stocker. I thought it was great to have him back. I thought the height balance was better. Obviously, Caminiti went off pretty early, so we kind of had just Silvani and Wilkie doing a bit of the work. But I know Marshall floated back a little bit. Even Sharman late in the game was in the back line. And then Turu forward I loved. So I think, we talked about coaching mistakes in the first 2 weeks, but it looked like we kind of got it on point in this one. Even Garcia on Callahan.
Yeah.
Like I really liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
Callahan
really
didn't
well.
get off the chain,
Yeah.
and Garcia kind of hurt him the other way a couple times.
Yeah,
Anyway.
he had 6 clearances and the
Mm.
most centre-bouts attendances for the game with 21.
Really?
Garcia. So,
Oh, good on
yeah.
him. Didn't
Um,
expect that.
Woody, I want to talk to you about this. So last week, Alex Taru, me and
Yep.
you had a bit of back and forth with him. He had 44% time on ground, most of it up forward, kicked 2 goals. What you were sort of asking for that almost last week. What did
Yeah.
you make of it?
I think it was like it did exactly what I wanted in a lot of ways. There was an extra aerial target. I think he only took the 1 mark, but he got
Which was a
Which
hanger.
Which was
yeah,
a
yeah,
beauty.
yeah. It might have been 2 now, I think, because he definitely got a goal and a behind from set shots. I could be making that up. I could have got mistaken, but it looked good. He got his 8 or so disposals, and they were much more effective than being behind the ball. He did only play about 45% of time on ground, and when you consider Caminiti was gone in the first quarter as well, it's quite a big change to what we've been used to in the back line. And I think all reports, it looks good. I mean, Green had 20-ish disposals, 15, 20 disposals, and I don't think he even got a goal. So it's one of those situations where the smaller forwards for our opposition were better held. I felt like movement out of defence was better, and there was more targets inside 50. So for me, it was ticks across the board. Would like to see him get that 60-odd, 70-odd
Yeah,
percent.
44
He'll
seems
get there.
really low.
Yeah, that's where I felt like with Hammer off, that was a little bit confusing. I figured maybe chuck him back here and there,
Yeah.
but it was working, so I can understand why they didn't want to change too
And
much.
Filippo was on. I think he only played 50% as well.
Yeah.
Ryan pretty low because they were both sore from last
You
week
could,
anyway.
you would think that's for the injury. Filippo surely not playing. I think 57% game time it was. That doesn't
Yeah.
seem right for him. So we'll watch that one for next week. Our co-captains though, 11 intercept marks for Cal
Elite.
Wilkie, Jack Sinclair. Polling coaches votes 3 out of 3 games this year. You want strong leaders, and we've got 2 of them.
Yeah, and to be fair, I did criticise them last week. I thought our backline looked all at sea last week, and
Same.
having 2 leaders down there, you talked about it as well. We need them to be in control and to exude confidence in the backline, even when it's panicky. Just be confident about your ability, and I think that spread to the whole team. Even in the first quarter and second quarter, we were on top, but the Giants had moments, but we composed ourselves and we hurt them going the other way. And combined, I think they had 28 and 30 possessions or something between them. It was like 60 possessions or
Also,
so. And
Wilkie was a
Oh, he was-
standalone amazing player. He had 8
Yeah.
contested defensive
Yeah.
one-on-ones, didn't lose one of them. So that's a massive amount for any one player to deal with, but to actually get away and win them all is a huge thing.
And to add to that, like people will say, yeah, the Giants missing players, but their forward line is still very strong.
Yep.
Like when you look at the players they had down there,
Hogan,
Stringer, Green,
Green.
like
Yep.
they've got some pretty decent targets down there, and they do tend to hurt us. Like I remember many games where Hogan or Green, especially Green, has destroyed us and been the difference. So to see us control him and take him out of the game was a big reason why we won.
Yeah, absolutely. And the coaches seem to like Cal Wilkie's performance as well because he got a perfect 10. So good on him for that. Lads, I want to talk about Max Hall for a sec. I spoke about it pretty strongly last week. I want him in the midfield. 4 centre-bouts attendances on the weekend, which I don't understand because when the game was on the line with 25 seconds to go, a goal in it, who was in the middle? Max Hall. So if we're going to him in those moments, why, like, if
not
we
more?
we have the trust in him to put him in there, why is he not in there always? So 4 centre-bouts attendances. How many clearance do you reckon he had?
I think it was 2.
4.
He had
So
four.
not that
Four
that
centre-back?
doesn't mean he won
Centre
all.
clearances?
No, not centre clearance, just clearance.
Okay.
So I obviously didn't win every 4.
I was going to say 100%. I was like, what the
Yeah,
hell was
100%
that?
clearance efficiency. No, it just goes to show how effective he can be at stoppage.
Yeah.
I just think he would be an absolute weapon for us in the middle, and I want to see him in there way more often.
And even though he had a quiet game, that goal was still class.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
pick
it
up and
was,
the snap,
absolutely.
like,
Under pressure,
yeah.
for sure. But are you guys with me? Am I the only one?
I do
that
want to
thinks
see
this?
a little bit more. Just depends on who replaces him at that half forward position because he's so good there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's Wilson. Like maybe Wilson could push there and they can just rotate between them.
Mm.
Because I think Wilson's got the ability to go through the guts a little bit.
If he could pull that first half out for a second half as well, that's
Yeah.
like that could be Nazar's right hand man easily. Like
Yep.
32 odd disposals. He had 6 or 7 like score involvements at halftime. you double all those halftime numbers, and that's an absurdly good game.
Oh,
So I think we've got a bit to work with. But in terms of Max, I wonder if it is just lack of development of the role. Like maybe he's only learnt a couple of plays that we can go to and doesn't quite have the like ability to pull from different, things that we've done. So I'd like to see it more. Definitely don't understand why we're not doing it, but I figure there's got to be a reason.
I mean, the miracle at Marvel, who played like the entire last quarter in the middle, Max Hall. We kicked 8 goals that quarter or something. So.
I do think, when you look at the games, we've won clearances in every game. We won centre clearances comfortably in 2 of the 3, and that's without Max Hall. So I can see Ross going, well, it'd be great to get him in there, but he's valuable here, and we're also doing well there anyway. So it's kind of like, what's the point?
Yep.
Like, he's damaging in half forward. Do we really need him in the guts? Maybe for key moments, like what he did. We lost that clearance comfortably, by the way. So
that's true.
That's not a great shout for Max Hall to be midfield full-time, and they almost won the game from that. But I think, like, centre clearance-wise, we're doing really well anyway.
No, we are. And
Flanders I thought he was quietly very good.
No, absolutely. We've talked about it all year. Despite the first 2 games being losses, the midfield has been strong. And you're right, we've won clearance in every single game. Woody, I'm curious what your assessment's been on the midfield for these first 3 weeks.
I mean, it's great. I don't want to fall into the trap I did before round 0, but it looks good. And like I think you mentioned it in your video earlier when we were chatting. I'm not sure, but like if Tom De Koning's match, which was considered one of the worst matches in AFL player ratings history, second worst behind Joel Amati, if that's the worst we're getting. And like that's meant to be quite bad. I didn't think he played that terrible. Like he wasn't great. Don't get me wrong. Like 19% disposal efficiency is awful, genuinely awful. But it didn't feel like he was severely negatively impacting us.
He had 7 score involvements.
Yeah,
I know a lot of them were him missing, but
and he's a big reason why we are winning clearance.
Yeah,
exactly right. And I think there's elements of it's like not working perfectly. I think we got 5 behinds out of our 2 ruckmen going into the in there. But at the end of the day, I think the general structure is working. Give it time. Hopefully, it keeps developing, and we go from slightly above AFL average to closer to that top end.
Yeah,
and it's a good sign just to see like Marshall and him work together again. I think he does play better with Marshall in the team, just from what I've seen. But
no, absolutely.
Like if they're getting 4 or 5 shots on goal between them a week,
5 shots.
Like
Surely
on
we're
another
not
day,
missing 5 straight shots on goal.
I was going to say on another day they kick 3 of those, 4 of those, and we would definitely win comfortably in that situation. They'd be 2 of the most influential players on the ground at that point.
Yeah, and just as well on TDK, some of the 1-2 game between him and Naz was like a leader. It was the best we'd seen it all year. But yeah, on the combo, Marshall was at 7 centre bounces. TDK was at 18. I like that balance. Marshall had 6 clearances. Like, they look good. Like we mentioned on the scoreboard, they're going to convert. They're not going to do that every week. Marshall's still just grabbing it out of the ruck and winning clearances by his own foot, which is pretty great to see. But yeah, honestly, 2 game, not even a game and a half in of that combo, I'm personally loving it. Are you guys with me there?
It's hard to match up on. Like even the Lions this week, they usually play I think they're going to just play the 1 ruck.
No, they should have 2. So it should be Darcy Fort,
and
Sam, and
Oscar McInerney?
Draper.
Or Draper, yeah, that's right.
So Draper came in, I believe, just before their week off, which they just had. And yeah, they should have a couple players back. I believe Zach Bailey's coming back after his suspension. We might be looking at 1 or 2 others joining, but we don't have Harris Andrews, which is a nice omission.
Damn, it'd be nice to have Max King. I love that we play every team that's missing, even like the Giants.
No Taylor.
No Taylor, but we don't have King. Collingwood, they're missing Moore and Howe. We don't have King. And now it's no Harris Andrews, no King.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, no, for sure. I was going to say, before we skipped over Darcy Wilson, I wanted to shout out that moment where he smothered the Toby Green kick. He missed the tackle, came back, second effort, gets a smother, resulting in a goal. That was play of the game, just about.
Even Boxall, where he handballed it to the Giants player. Do you remember that?
But then
he got
10
the holding
seconds
the
later,
ball.
you're like, oh, Boxall's back again.
Yeah, and he got the holding the ball, I think, from it. So
I was going to rinse him if we lost that match because I was like, what do you mean you're handballing it straight to the opposition?
I mean, the follow-up was...
He took it personally.
No, he did enough to save his reputation for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, even some of the more senior players like Liam Ryan kicked an absolute ripper. Mason Wood, I mean, that goal saved us in the end. That was like from out 50. It was pretty funny seeing him with that one Saints fan in the pocket there celebrating. Shout out to that guy.
How was the like? What did you think of the atmosphere, like across from the telecast?
I mean, it looked absolutely
Felt like we got
dead.
pretty loud, like at times. The
I
away
mean,
fans.
the actual visual looked dead as.
Oh,
but
they
yeah,
did. Yeah.
I assume obviously it was terrible conditions. The game got delayed, but I mean, yeah, there was a decent Saints contingent there.
I'm not sure how correct this is, but I heard this on one of the podcasts, that there isn't attendance numbers out for that match, and some are saying it's
AFL's hiding
sus.
them. Yeah,
Yeah, go back to that conspiracy corner idea, but I wouldn't have thought there'd be much more than like 10,000 for a thundered out match.
10,000's generous, isn't it?
I doubt there was 10,000.
Yeah,
I reckon there wasn't.
I think I'm being
7.
kind. Yeah, I don't know if 7 even was there. I'd say it's closer to 5, but
Yeah.
Oh well, hopefully we pack out Marvel this week.
yeah, exactly.
As well, I wanted to just touch on Naz again because it's easy to look over him. The amount of goals he set up, I think he had 3 goal assists, 8 score involvements.
A launch.
He was fantastic, and we wanted him more in the middle. He was 20 centre-bounce attendances, so he was just fantastic. Really didn't
Took
get
a
on
bunch
the
of kick-ins
scoreboard.
as well, so started running end to end, which is
That's
great.
what we wanted.
I
Back to last year's sort of setup.
I feel like, honest to God, everything we mentioned last week pretty much happened.
Yeah.
That we were like, and we're not the only ones, right?
Except for Maxwell and the
Yeah,
centre.
yeah.
Well, but it felt like everything we were complaining about, bar Machito, Owens, Maxwell getting full mid numbers. No, it was good to see some of the complaints getting addressed.
Yeah, and we just need Cooper Sharman to kick a bag this week because
No,
I do
absolutely.
think that he's had a tough run of it, but he was doing a lot of the 1%ers this week. So a lot of the stuff that you need to watch the replay a couple times to notice. But he didn't get a shot on. I don't think he actually had a shot on goal, did he? Not once.
Not from memory.
Yeah,
no.
so which is unlike him because usually even when he's struggling, he's good to just take a grab and have a shot. But I just think that's sort of the next thing we need to just fix up is just Owens is a battler.
Yeah.
And then you've got Marshall, but we need Sharman to be demanding.
I liked what you said.
bit
I think
more
it was in your review about how like it's almost like he's just trying too hard.
Yeah,
like he's
I
listening to the
genuinely think that.
noise around him.
Yeah.
And it's just like he is good enough. He's gonna be fine, but like he can't be dropping sodas. And
No.
it's this was almost felt like an improvement this week, despite not having a shot on goal. But yeah, I think let's give him a few more weeks. Hopefully, he's like back to that best that we know, taking clunks and all that.
Yeah.
So
Could be this week.
Hope so. And I just loved like Ross's demeanor after the game. It didn't change from the last 2 weeks, I felt. And I was like, to me, that's good leadership because I don't think we played that differently to the last 2 weeks. We definitely did some things much better around the edges. But ultimately, I'm not sitting here going, oh, we've just completely changed the game. We've worked it all. It's like, no, it's just another 2 to 3% improvement week on week. And thankfully, this week it resulted in a W.
Well, we just didn't get hit. We didn't really let them get through us at any point up until the last quarter.
Yeah.
Our pressure was, we played such a high press. We just kind of locked them into our forward line. They couldn't get it out the back.
Yeah.
I don't know if they just chose not to play that way or our press was just that strong that caused those turnovers, but it didn't seem like a slingshotty type of game compared to like how Collingwood got out the back a few times and then obviously Melbourne did it the whole game. But in this one, it was like right up until the 3 or 4 minute mark. But that was more, they just kept getting center clearance. It wasn't rebound. It was just direct from the bounce.
Yeah. No.
That last half, technically, they had a lot more inside 50s. From memory, I think it was about 30 in the second half with via kicks. And I think they only took 4 marks from memory of those 30 kicks inside 50. So, look, defense was significantly better. Looking at it structurally, we didn't get much, obviously at home, you don't get quite the same sort of vision. But when you got the long shots, you could see a much more organised defence. Whether that was because we were given the time to organise or we were focusing on it, who knows? But I did think we improved quite a bit defensively this week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like that first half, I feel like round 0 and 1, we had patches where we were dominant, but we just never capitalized. That first half we were dominant, and of course the scoreboard shows that we did capitalize on that opportunity. So that was great to see. Laz, anything else you want to touch on before we get into junk mail?
No, I don't think we want to critique that last quarter too much. I do think that's a bit of inexperience again. I think we've shown that in every game. There's been moments where we just kind of, I don't know, the pressure gets a little bit to us, or we just get a bit panicky. Sharman's kick in the last quarter where, that goes like half a meter a bit high and we hit the target. We milk 30 seconds, the game's done. He just misses it. It's just like, it's very fine margins in these games that we're kind of just not quite hitting it. But we won, I think, away from home. I really wanted us to go away and just get away from the noise of Melbourne. And I think, that bodes well for us coming back to Melbourne now. And it's at Marvel, and we haven't even seen how we play on that deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
4 weeks in.
We also mentioned time on ground, but we had 3-ish players, like all up, that barely got half a match. Four that got half a match.
Yeah.
When you're playing with that few on the bench, like you're gonna tire out as the game wears on. Unfortunately, it kind of happened in that last 10 minutes, and they took advantage. But that's life.
And
that's
that is a trend with GWS where they start games pretty slow and they come home hot. Like we're not the only team they've done that against. I'm really not that upset about it, to be honest. I felt that coming. Yes, we could have handled some of those moments in the last few minutes better, but it was sort of, we had our moment, they had theirs. We were lucky that we just capitalized on our moment a bit more than they did.
Yeah.
They were always going to come for us. Like, we weren't just going to roll away with it in the second half.
No, the margin is the margin. Like, it's 4 points at the end of the day, but like that does flatter them.
Yeah.
Like I said that today in a video, I think that does flatter them. It's a 20 to 30 point win in my books, like based on the whole 4 quarters. But yeah, it's early in the season. I don't think margins really matter too much at this point. You just got to notch the 4 points and
I was disappointed
and move on.
with that last couple of goals. We did slip below Collingwood in the ladder, and it doesn't mean much right now, but
we're still in the top 10.
Yeah,
We're still in the wild card.
Wild card.
I was really upset that I went to look at it, and it's like, oh, we're in the 8, and I'm like, oh, we're 9th, and Collingwood is in the 8. So that was upsetting, but it's really nobody's fault.
We're above Carlton, it's fine.
Yeah, but that's
what I care
cool,
about.
yeah.
Also, last thing, Brad Hill surviving that eye
Oh, the
gouging.
eye
I got to
gouge?
say,
Yeah.
thank God. You see what it did to Mason Cox. He's wearing, glasses every time he plays now. So thank God he sat on the ground because that looked lethal at first.
I loved seeing when they posted on Fox Footy and all the comments like, oh, man up or softy. I'm like, have you, it was his eyeball was bleeding.
God.
Yeah.
That was brutal eye gouging. I don't
Yeah,
know
it wasn't just subtle.
whatever.
He got right in there, and then I'd love to see a photo of what it looks like.
Yeah,
today.
He'd
or
have a
the
black
day
eye
after.
for
It would've been
sure.
Yeah.
really swollen
No,
post
good on.
game.
Played on and kicked our first goal as well, Brad Hill. So
Yes.
anyway, let's get into junk mail for the week.
Jake is junk mail. Jake is junk mail. Jake is junk mail. Jake is junk mail.
All right, let's get straight into the written ones. We've got a few audio ones as well that we'll get into. We know Ari loves those ones very much.
My favourite segment.
This one is from an account called Multipolar Planet. Very good name. Why is Stringer's bump on Naz not getting raised to the MRO? It was late hit and shoulder and hit Naz's head.
Yep. That's the only thing on my notes that we didn't talk about. So I'm glad that question is raised.
He got hit twice.
Look,
didn't he, in the
I'm just
first
going to be
quarter?
real. That was a dog act.
Yeah.
He was clearly trying to wipe him out. He's lucky he didn't make contact with his head because if he did, see you later. It was late off the ball.
I mean,
Dog act.
Stringer's always been a dog act.
Yeah.
Like, let's not kid anybody. Like,
Yeah.
he also tried to flatten somebody minutes earlier
Flanders,
Yeah.
I think, wasn't it?
in his
Yeah,
back
right.
pocket. So, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised he's not at least copping a fine for, like, unsportsmanlike conduct or something to that ilk. So,
Yeah, that was not cool.
Yeah.
And good on Sinks for being the first one to get into his face about it.
This one's from Timmy23. He's asking, does Dougal Howard come straight back in to cover Caminiti, and do you think we should leave Viking forward against the Lions? I mean, considering no Harris Andrews, I think it's a great idea to just leave him forward.
Yeah, and Dougal Howard should definitely come in. It's an easy straight swap. Howard played well in the VFL. Thankfully, that's back now. So I think, that's one of the easiest decisions match committee will have.
It's a straight swap.
yeah, I think so.
You agree?
Yeah.
Max is asking, why do we always give up our big leads? It feels as soon as we get up to a good lead, we start to just defend. We start to slow the game down and defend. Or we're not giving enough credit to the
Yeah,
Oppo.
I didn't necessarily feel it with this game. I felt like that the two halves were very different. GWS came out a different side in that second half, and we sort of had to adjust the way we were playing because, we couldn't just keep running and gunning if they were going to lift their pressure, which they did. So yeah, what did you think of that, Woody?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a specific reason. Like we've gotten a little bit younger in some regards. Which I don't know. I don't think there's a particular reason that it's happened, at least this week. I don't think it hasn't really happened this year other than that. So
we got the jump on Melbourne early. But it's so early in the game. Momentum's it's very rare you watch a game and like look at even the Kangaroos West Coast game. Like that went all over the place. And then West Coast just went berserk in the last quarter.
At halftime, I thought the West Coast were done for, and then they just came back and smashed them. So I mean, it's hard to say, to be honest.
Yep. Sammy's asking, do you think the Lions game could pull 40,000 plus? Our first home game at Marvel, coming off a win, and we're playing the reigning premier. It's a lot of Fitzroy supporters in Melbourne.
One thing as well, we might have an open roof.
And that too.
True.
It's only twilight and night games.
Because it messes with the telecast.
It's a 12:35, and then there's a Marvel game at night.
You'd figure like the changing lumens would be worse than like where the shadow is on the ground. But
I'm not defending it.
No, fair.
Anyways, 40,000 probably not. If we get
35?
upwards of 30, I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah. Spider's asking, any structural moves you think we should make against Brisbane? Structural? I mean, I don't think so. If we're just making the one, like, okay, hypothetically, if there was one more mystery change for this game outside of Caminiti Howard, which is obviously going to happen, what would it be?
I mean, you know what I'm going to say, Max Hall in the middle.
No, but I mean like any ins and outs.
Ins and outs?
Like Carroll, what do you think of Carroll's game?
I thought he was fine.
I think he was fine too.
I think he's a bit of a scapegoat whenever something goes wrong because he's just like an easy target.
I liked he flew into some packs and made some important spoils. He is there to get, like, to me it's Ross saying, well, we need a Jimmy Webster type player.
Yeah. And
he is as close to that as we can get right now with Stocker.
Yeah.
And we have that balance. And he's not coming out against Brisbane with the number of
I wouldn't think so.
smalls that they've got.
He's clearly being picked because we want speed out of the back line, which is fine. Now that Stocker's in, I'm more comfortable with it. So he would maybe come out, but I don't think there's anyone ready to take the spot, and I'm happy with how he's producing anyway. So
yeah, he's improving.
There is one I'd like to see come in. Played quite well on the weekend, Kai Fincher.
Yeah. And you really think he's ready for it?
This is kind of a similar argument that others make about Caminiti, right? In the sense that if we're not playing for a premiership right now, I'm not sure that Carroll will be just pushing others out of the side in 2-3 years. So is it better to start the journey for Kai Fincher? So that's
Carroll? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that would be general
Kai
thoughts.
would play probably in that
pretty
position.
similar halfback position. That's the only one I think it's early to start making that call. I think Carroll played fairly well on the weekend as well, so I don't think it's really needed to kind of change the magnets in any regards. But I think that is a question that'll come up later in the season, particularly if we're not storming home into finals.
Yeah, well, he did have a good game in the VFL, 26 and a goal.
I think one good game. Let's give him a few weeks before
we're playing the reigning premier.
Him in.
We want to be as settled as possible.
Yeah,
and that means just force change.
But I mean, it was great to see him have a good game though. So hopefully he can continue to produce that way.
All right,
let's get into the voicemails. Can't wait for this.
Surely
it's all positive.
Eh?
Surely it's all positive. You reckon? Always with the headphones, this bloke.
It's because they change weekly. I like consistency. I want them to be the same, but I reckon I've used a new one every week.
Consistent headphones, can't get consistent St Kilda's.
Representative of our season.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
headphone sponsors, hit us up.
Yep. Let's go with Thomas.
About time we get on the board. Such a St Kilda thing. Be up by 20 with 3 minutes left, thinking that's enough, and then just hold on by 4 points somehow. Is Naz back? And Darcy Wilson, man. This check of ours is now cashed in.
It's a good point. First of all,
we need to sign Darcy.
Is Naz back? He never left. Darcy,
and we need to sign him.
It's a great point because he's out of contract. So
yeah. So
how do we feel about the attention he is starting to get from certain opposition fans?
Naz?
Darcy.
In terms of like Contract
contract
talks,
talks,
yeah.
that sort of stuff.
I think, last year we had a number of players that had that issue, so I think that bodes well for us because we handled it.
Yeah.
And maybe there's Naz and some like Owen signed, Filippo signed, so maybe they can kind of get in his ear and
Yeah.
give him some advice on how to handle it.
I mean, from a list management point of view, he's certainly part of our future vision. So
Yeah.
lock him up.
This is Peter.
Lock him up.
Lock him up.
Lock him up on the list.
Hey
Yeah,
guys,
that sounded a bit.
hope you're doing well. Really happy about the win this week. It's been really made my week. I wanted to ask a bit of a analytical question to all three of you, but especially Woody. How have you seen St Kilda's ball movement so far? We've had 3 games now, and also the pre-season games. How do you think we're doing? From transition and all these other metric things. Do you think we're still doing really well in that area? Do we need to improve some more? I just really want to hear each of your thoughts. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Just take the question off us, mate. Just answer that.
Well, I'll throw it to you guys. But as a general, I think we're doing like a lot of things better. It's probably not at the level we want it to be, right? Like it's right now, the numbers that we've had from 3 games, which isn't tons, is probably not at the level that Brisbane was at last year, Geelong was at last year, that sort of thing. There's been a lot of improvement though. So I'd say marks inside 50 haven't looked amazing, but we're getting it inside 50 a lot more. Transition has had improvements in some regards, but I also think that is in some regards also hurting our defense, which I mentioned last week. And if we're just using stats, I do know that like a lot of like player awarded points for like the AFL player ratings in terms of like pre and post equity of getting the ball. We do fairly well in pre-equity in terms of where we set up, where we are as like we're going to get the ball. Once we have the ball and use it, that could still be improved upon. But I think there's tons of teams in the league that haven't had the jump that we have. So I'm buoyed by where we're at.
Yeah, I like that in key metrics that we've seen, like some of the top teams, like especially the Premiers, clearance work, inside 50s, just scoring shots in general, just going up. It's just nice to have that because it feels like that's been the battle. We're trying to win games by getting 10 less clearances a game, by getting 10 less inside 50s, less scoring shots. So it means you just got to be ultra efficient. And we know at the best of times, we're not the most efficient team going inside 50. So it's just good to see those numbers climbing. And then you just refine, that kick once you actually get the ball.
Yeah. No, agree with all that was said there.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah, great question. This is Saint Chez with a little
Sick.
jingle.
Beautiful.
Darcy Wilson, seen a few weeks in St. Clair. Dearest Darcy, remember last year you kicked 5 goals in Sydney. Darcy Wilson, Darcy Wilson, he moves at the speed of light. Darcy
If I get copyright for this.
went to NG to play.
This is a new song now.
Feels like a key change as well. Yeah.
This is the B side.
Oh, yeah.
Back Saturday.
Oh, beautiful.
It's 2 more minutes left.
Lightning struck the game delayed. Dust was clean and found the space. Darcy Wilson. Friends of Gold Saturday.
Oh, well, that's...
Beautiful. Saint
We
Chez.
love those. Thank you, Saint Chez.
Fantastic.
That was great. I
You
enjoyed
can just
that.
hear the passion in her voice.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
it.
Hard act to follow that one, but let's see if Vince can beat it.
I want to hear Vince pipes.
Hey boys, I wonder if there will ever be a world where you got Max King lining up at centre half forward and Alex Tyree down at full forward. It would certainly be a completely different forward line. I think Tyree now would I would persevere with Tyree. down forward. And how good was it to have Liam Stocker back, just to see that aggression
Absolutely.
towards the opposition again, has and being hard of the ball certainly has been a big improvement from the first 2 weeks, and hopefully he can keep his spot in the side. Thanks, boys. Go Saints.
You would have loved seeing Soccer just smash blokes.
Absolutely.
And
So good. He's just our best defensive, for all our small players, definitely the best defensively that we've got.
this is from Chad, and Chad's a regular. He analyzes the game very well, so let's see what he has to say.
Chat again. Boys, I just want to bring up the amount of missed opportunities in front of goal that we have. It is, again, on the weekend, alarming how many opportunities we have that we're not converting. Great that we got the win. Great that we're able to get that first one on the board for 2026. But if we are to be a serious contender going forward for this year and beyond, and making finals and actually establishing ourselves as a formidable opponent, we need to be converting these opportunities that we're getting. And it's not so much how many, it is actually the angle and the distance that we're missing them at is the most alarming part of it. We're choosing to go around the corner when it's just a simple drop punt. We're stabbing at the ball instead of kicking through it. These are not far out shots, and they're also not great angles, but we are making it much harder for ourselves to get a score on the board than it needs to be. We gave GWS an opportunity to gain momentum by not creating a big enough gap when we had the opportunity to do it, that gave them the momentum that they took and they ran with, and they almost rolled us. 4 points is not a great margin considering where we were at in the first half of this game. I really hope we take the learnings.
To be fair, I slightly disagree because when we were on top, we were nearly 40 points up.
Yeah, I feel
So
like we
to
did
me,
take
that
our
tells me
chances.
that we did take our chances.
But in the second half, he's right.
He's right
Like,
about the
yeah.
second half, but but to me that sounds like discounting all of the good work.
Yeah.
Like we were 38, 39 up at one point.
Yeah.
But I agree that
I
some
get
of those
his
misses
point.
do
Like,
hurt you late.
we somewhat capitulated at the end, right? Like it didn't. It became a race to the finish line, right? In a lot of ways, but like we wouldn't have been 40 points up last year. I think
No
we
way.
were 40 odd points down last time we played them in round 3 or 4 or whatever it was. So, yeah, I think like it's fair to be upset that we weren't able to execute throughout the entirety of the match. I think there's an expectation that needs to be held in that regard. But like it's also unfair to say that they need to always be able to do that because players will make mistakes. So I think we're at a stage where we're in a big learning cycle and a big change, and it's hard to get it all to work straight away. And I think a lot of the people that were saying, you know, it will take time to meld, that sort of thing. I think, you know, publicly in the AFL journalist media world, a few of them are putting on the pressure these days as well. So it's a bit of a you can't win, you can't like lose. You can't win either way situation because you know which way do you go? Everybody's going to have an issue in some regards. So I think it's fair to be upset, but it's also like time to like cool your jets. We're not quite a full locked in final side.
Yeah.
Not a finished product.
It'll click at some point and it'll be pretty amazing.
Yeah. Shout out to Chad. He's always voice messaging.
Yeah.
Got a good point.
2 more. We'll go Josh and then Thomas.
G'day, boys. Love the work that you guys are doing, so keep it up. Being a Saints fan, as usual, is Jekyll and Hyde. We lose the first 2 games against Collingwood and Melbourne, both completely winnable, and then when a lot of people write us off, we put in a really good performance, at least in the first half against the Giants, and we come away, and it's that really elite performance in the first half that gets me thinking. I reckon we've got a lot more of a chance than we think against Brisbane. I know that they're coming off a bye, players coming back from suspension, but I think our performance would have given Chris Fagan, who was actually watching us from the stands on Saturday, more to think about than he already has. So how do you boys reckon we'll go? Let me know. Cheers.
We'll mention that in the preview.
We will
Yeah.
preview in a
Stay
sec.
tuned,
But
Joe.
I
I'm
mean,
a little bit worried that Fagan was one of the 500 people at the game, so that's a bit worrying. But yeah,
no, I agree though that like the AFL media at large will kind of not give us a shot here, but we absolutely are in for a fight in this one.
Yeah, big chance. And lucky last Thomas.
About time we're on the board. Such a Saints thing to do, being 20 plus points up 3 minutes ago to just hold on by 4 in the end. There's Naz back and Darcy Wilson, man.
this is the
Oh
same
my.
one.
And now
Is
that
it?
check of ours is cashed in.
He sent it twice, Thomas. Oh well, we like a good bookend
Yep.
for junk mail. We
Yep.
like to repeat
I think
messages.
I've met Thomas now.
Huh?
I think I've met Thomas.
Really?
I think he was at the
Was he at the Footy Abroad event?
Yeah, I think so. Nice lad. If I'm thinking of the right person.
Could be. Thomas, were you there?
On you,
Let us know.
Thomas. Lads, the grudge match. Ross Lyon, Chris Fagan. A bit. There was a bit. Oh, you're rolling your eyes at me, Jake.
I've forgotten about the drama. Do
Oh yeah.
The drama in quotation.
you reckon they'll shake hands pre-game?
No, they hate each other. These
Yeah,
two.
that's true, yeah.
No. I mean, there will be.
Tiddy Kane, Naz, they're going to be really nervous to play against
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Fagan with the amount of money they're
I mean,
making,
I don't.
right?
I don't think nerves, but I would love if both of those two boys were thinking
on.
about it.
Do you think quietly they'd be?
I hope so.
Absolutely want to get up
Point
for
to
this.
proof.
and
I
dominate?
think so.
I would hope that's
Especially against Draper.
yeah. I'd
Imagine-
hope that clip's being played.
Imagine some dude that like you don't work with has like you've barely ever met as just random drive-bys you on national news like yeah I don't think he like why is he getting paid that much I don't think he's very good like that's essentially what like Fags
Yeah, you
did.
circle it in the calendar.
If
don't
if somebody did that to me I'd be like ticking down the days going when can I get my revenge and I'm hoping the boys are ready to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's going to be an interesting one. It'll be a little mini build up.
Every week we've got a mini build up.
There's always a little build up, Jakey.
Just want to talk about the footy.
Well, speaking of the footy, no Harris Andrews. McCluggage is a question mark.
Ooh,
That's going to
he
be
kills us too every time.
Yeah. So those are definitely a watch. And yeah, Dougal Howard Anthony Caminiti out with the hamstring.
Mhm.
Dougal Howard will probably just take that spot. He had 22 touches and 7 marks in the VFL. Charlie Banfield also out, so he was sort of in contention, but not to be, unfortunately. He's got the injury. So, yeah, lads, what do we make of this matchup? 12:35 on a Saturday. First game
yeah,
we've got
early.
at Marvel. It's going to be an interesting one.
Seems to be like we've won at the perfect time now. We can just kind of relax. I mean, not relax too much, but I think going into this winless would have been like, imagine, the stress in the crowd, the players would have felt it, but now I think it just kind of, it's almost, we've hit the reset button and we can just go to Marvel and just focus on just supporting the team, creating a great atmosphere, and then they can just relax and play some good footy. I don't know, I'm feeling quietly confident. I just feel like it's hard to gauge Brisbane. They start seasons slow generally. It's kind of a thing they do, but they weren't great in their first 2 games, players missing. And I don't know if the bye came at a great time for them, apart from just getting a few players back. But just in terms of playing football and playing good football, you just want to keep playing until you click. And they haven't clicked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It feels like similar to the Giants, we've kind of got them at an ideal time.
Yep.
That's just what it looks like from the outside.
Some would
From
say
the outside.
opposite, being 0-2, coming against a reigning Premier, point to prove.
Yeah, but having the week off, it just slows that. I just think it slows
Yeah,
that.
okay.
I also wonder
see.
with a week off and just more time to think about how things haven't worked and what
Yeah.
you need to improve on. Should it not work, right? Like when you start to the match, you get to halftime and you're walking in and you're 40 points. Okay, that's maybe a bit of an exaggeration. Let's say you're 2 goals down, right? And you haven't been able to string much together in the second quarter. In the back of your mind, you're probably going, Fags is going to rinse us. And it's kind of going the way that we've been exactly trying to avoid. If you can kind of get that talk in the back of the head that's not about football exactly going, you just kind of reinforce that idea in the third, fourth, that sort of thing. You just keep kind of putting it in the back of their mind that, this season's not going the way we want. Maybe they start thinking to, the season, the next match, that sort of thing, and their head's not quite in the
We're
right
just getting-
space. So
You're really going into detail on the psyche of the Brisbane Lions.
I feel like, and I've mentioned this a few times, I quote this well more than I'd like to, but Ross has mentioned that it's 5% between the best sides and the worst sides in footy.
Yeah.
I reckon that's probably ballooned out a little bit these days. But
Yeah, did you watch Essendon on the weekend?
yeah, I did. I tried.
Didn't
But
watch it.
you're lucky. But that being said, sorry, sorry, just remembered. That being said, I think psyche has a lot to do, like a lot more than you'd think, right? Like if everybody's on the same page, maybe like handballs go that 1 meter in front to the target rather than somebody just missing it, right? So I don't know. Like it's all that unquantifiable stuff that I want to like start clicking so that it's easy to see what is and isn't working. That's kind of where I'm at.
I see this as like, round 6, 2004. I mean, were you born yet?
I was 0.
You were 0.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't remember who was playing.
That was when we were the up and coming team. We were young, hadn't quite. I mean, I think we're 5-0 going into it. It's a better form than now, but we were young. They were the reigning premier again from 03, and we beat them. That's when Troy Schwartz kicked that bomb
I've seen that.
from 55. Great game. Aussie Jones kicked it on the full, but they gave it a point, and we ended up winning.
He got it.
Yeah. And we win the game, and that kind of set the standard for the. That's kind of our moment when we kind of just jumped it.
Maybe
I just
you
feel
can do
like
a
this
little
is
post about that this week.
like this is a big game for us.
Absolutely.
It's a big game for them, but I just think if we can get up for this and get put in a performance, like to go 2-2 into the bye after the start of the season.
Yep.
Like we've been in every game.
Absolutely.
Comfortably in every game. We could have won 2. We could have won all of them.
Yeah.
We didn't, obviously, but we've been in every game, and I think that's, I don't know, that to me has just been forgotten.
It's a great point you bring up because, in years gone by, and I mean, I'm pretty sure last year when we played them, we got absolutely rolled on Anzac Day, or that round at least. I don't really, and maybe this will come back to haunt me, but I don't have that fear that we're going to get rolled this week at all. I think we could lose, sure. I think it's going to be game on in the fourth quarter though. That really excites me, and I'm just hoping that we've had 3 kind of close-ish games in a row now. Hopefully we've learned some lessons and,
Even like going, like obviously the preseason we won both comfortably, but then you go back to the final 6 games last season, we won 4 or 5 of them. We won 4 in a row, and then we lost marginally, I think, by like a goal or 2 to the Giants in the last game. So we've gone, like, if you think about it collectively, obviously it's 2 different teams, but it's probably been 8 or 9 games of just being in every single game in a row. Like when you put it together, I think that's a really good sign. We're not going to win every game, but if you're in them, you give yourself a chance, as Ross would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very important to get into this Adelaide road trip with a bit of momentum. You know, you want to go in with confidence. Obviously, we've got back-to-back games, Port and Adelaide, both games at the Adelaide Oval. So, crucial game. 2-2 is the attitude is going to be a lot different to 1 and 3. And it's winnable. It's very winnable. I heard Ken Hinkley talking about on SEN the other day about when he was coaching. He had green, yellow, and red games. Green were games that they should win. Yellow's ones that they should win about half of those, and red was the ones you'll be lucky to get away with. In years gone by, this would have been red for us, but
it's
I think
yellow,
it's yellow.
you think?
I think it's yellow.
I agree. I think it's good to have, like, it's the first time going into this game where I'm not too fearful of their midfield. I think our midfield's been pretty strong. Obviously, this is the best midfield we're going to be coming up against in the first month of the season, but if you're going to take them on, you take them on right now. You take them on your home deck. Although we haven't performed well at Marvel against Brisbane in recent years. That's where they've pantsed us.
Yep.
We've actually been way more competitive at the Gabba,
Yep.
which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a good match. I do wonder whether we can go the full distance, because I think we've had a little bit of a tendency to drop off in that sort of last quarter this year. But I do think we'd get, as a general standard, 3 good quarters of footy, which is, something that we were desperate for last year. So, I think worst case scenario, we get run over the top. It'll happen against premiership sides, but I just want to see the boys put up a good fight.
Yeah, this is the ultimate test to see where we sit. We've had 3 games. We've kind of been in and out of all of them. We've had good pieces and bad pieces. We kind of put it together a little bit against the Giants, but now this is like an opportunity to show off as close to the finished article as we can. So
Yeah.
I don't see any
Massive
reason
game.
why we can't win this.
Massive game. Saints fans get down to Marvel.
Depends on their ends too.
First sort of like proper home game, I guess.
Yeah.
So very important to fill the stands. And yeah, before we wrap up, got to give a little shout out to
Actually, what are our tips? We haven't pumped up the game enough.
our tips.
Do
Okay.
you will you tip us?
I don't tip.
If
But
you were.
if I was tipping,
Jeez, he's normally the most
Woody,
positive on the show.
what are you doing?
You're normally the most positive on the show.
I'm positive. I think, like I said, I don't think we'll get rolled. I think we'll be in it in the fourth.
Okay.
What it boils down to for me is, have we learnt our lessons from these close games? Who's going to come in clutch? Is Naz going to hit that clutch gene
Because you'd
again?
think if Brisbane get a sniff and it is tight, that's where that experience again kicks in. But at some point, we're just going to have to
we
overcome
need
that.
people to go with Sinclair and Wilkie in those moments. Because
Gardner
right now, there's
playing?
not enough
100%.
players going with them in the clutch.
Gardner?
Yeah, is Gardner
Uh,
playing? I'm not sure.
I don't know if he played. He played the
I
first
think
two games.
I think he got a suspension for hitting somebody. I just can't remember if it was a
But
week.
Bailey's back.
Pretty sure Bailey's back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
there's two of them that are coming back.
It'd be Gardner then. All right. Well, it's hard to say because, like, I think with how and we hate referencing round one and or 0 and whatnot, but with Harris Andrews out, I'm definitely help. Like, it'll help. Like,
It's on the forwards here though.
well, it is,
you know.
but he is a man mountain. Like, he is genuinely a wall, and I'm glad he's not there. Like, that's kind of the answer I have. What that means in terms of like what sort of goals we could get, how many I think they're going to get, I don't know. Like, it's hard to say, but I think it'll go pretty close. Like, I think it'll go the distance.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a ripper game.
Yeah, Saints by 1,000.
I'm gonna back myself. I think we'll win.
I think if we get it
Beautiful.
done, it's a goal. I think it'll be either way. a goal.
I just think it's gonna be a ripper game.
Yeah.
Both teams have got a lot on the line. And I'm just stoked to be back at Marvel, to be honest. It feels
Yeah,
weird
same.
that it's round, 3? We've played 3 games and we haven't played there yet. So
Absolutely.
get to the game. Let's get 35-40.
Yep. Keen as could be.
Yeah.
So shout out to Uberti Studios for
You
sending this
Birdie.
this new intro I've got. It's a little rock version of "I Win the Saints," so that's gonna
Fitting for the fact that we've won our first
Yeah.
game and we get to sing
off
the
the
song now.
mark. Nice little rendition of "I Win the Saints." So
Yep.
enjoy and see you next week.
Go
Up the
Saints.
Saints.
Go Saints.